actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now.
There's guys out there that are doing this day in and day out. They live and breathe this stuff that they don't get the recognition or credit that they deserve.
Is the secret to fighting?
Not being a fucking pussy. Honestly, you can teach anybody how to fight. But like, if you're a fucking pussy, that's a really hard thing to teach someone not to be.
Yo, what's happening, baby?
Dude!
Episode 56. We're back right after last night's UFC 298. It's our immediate reactions to Volk versus Topuria. Obviously, most of us, if not all of us, have seen how that fight has gone out now today, 12 hours later. Ilia wins in impressive fashion with a second round knockout. We're going to be putting out a couple different recordings around this card this week. So if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, like the video, ring the bell, watch out for more stuff coming. But let's get into it. So let's just start, man. Main event.
You want to get right into the
I want to get right into the fucking main event. Right into the meat and potatoes.
I knew you
of
would.
The card.
Fucking asshole.
So here we go. So we had Alexander Volkanovski, Ilia Topuria, UFC 298 last night. The old dog versus the young prospect. There was a lot of talk back and forth all week about how it was going to go. Volk, took his last fight on short notice, got knocked out this time. He had a full training camp. And people thought the outcome was going to be a little bit different. I obviously called this one. Right? I called it fucking 3 months ago. I called this. Ilia is different. He's a different breed. He's a different animal. The power is fucking for real. And I don't know. Volk looked really, really good in that first round, even in the beginning of the second round before the knockout. Playing at a distance. He was picking him apart. He was beating Ilia up, tearing his leg up. Utilizing his jab really, really well. But Ilia is just a dangerous motherfucker, man, when you let him get on the inside of you. And he landed a little combo. He got Volk against the cage, landed a combination, and then came over with a right hook. That was just, absolutely beautiful. Now we have a new featherweight champion of the world, baby. Ilia El Matador Topuria.
Yeah, and if you haven't noticed right now or by now, Murky's been a Matador rider for the last few months, and I have not been, nor will I ever be, but that's beyond anybody's business. But yeah, if we learned one thing last night, dude, and for all you old UFC heads out there, OGs of the sport, been watching it for a while, I'm just going to be straight up with you. Stop picking based on your fucking pride and just fucking learn that this is a new era of MMA. And it kills me to admit it because I don't like fucking seeing my favorites lose, and I never will. I'm never going to bet against Alexander Volkanovski no matter what. The dude is the featherweight GOAT, in my opinion. Yeah, you can call Aldo whatever. You can say whatever you want. Volkanovski, sure. His reign of being a champion was unlike anybody else. And going into that fight, there was just no possible way you were going to convince me that he wasn't going to stay undefeated in that division. And whatever, give Ilia his flowers, congratulations, undefeated champ. He's going to go on a serious run and it's going to be hard to beat him. Is he beatable? Yeah. Is it likely? No. He's probably going to hold the belt for a long time. Cause there's really no one in that division right now that is going to be able to outbeat him better than Volkanovski could have, So, it upsets me, kind of hurts me, bro. Cause I'm seeing right now is just, we're into another veteran of the sport, making veteran dumb decisions, continuing to fight, knowing that they're past their prime, knowing their chin's been tested. And for Volk to sit on that stage last night and to try to say that the knockout from Islam didn't affect him in that fight is bullshit. It did. Cool. You wanted to be grateful and say, that's beyond me. We can't take credit away from Ilia. He's the He's the new champ. He deserves it. But dude, come on, bro.
Yeah.
That definitely affected you, and you know
Yeah.
it did. And like we were just talking about before we got on, I personally think he should leave that division, man. I mean, he almost needs to do what Aljamain is doing and stop cutting so much weight. I mean, he looks when your chin gets tested like that, when you start doing serious weight cuts, the guy's almost 40 years. He'll be 40 years old soon, man. I mean, he's like 38, dude.
He's 35. It's
Is he
not
really?
that. Yeah, he's only 35. It's not that serious. But yeah,
Yeah, well, he looks like he's fucking 38. I thought he was 38.
especially when he was asleep on the canvas last night.
All right, motherfucker. You didn't have to throw the jab in there, dude. God dang it. Yeah, so I thought he was a little bit older than that. Wow. I guess I was mistaken. I thought he was way older than that.
Nah,
Well,
Cejudo is 37.
That's what I
Cejudo's
was
a little
thinking
bit
of then.
closer.
We were talking about that. That's what I was thinking was 37. But he's getting to the point where he's been, for one, Volkanovski was like a 200 something pound dude at one point, and now he's fighting at fucking 145 pounds, dude. So like the weight cut's ridiculous,
Right.
for him already. So if he steps up, maybe it'll give him a little bit more comfortability to not have to lose so much weight. Maybe his chin won't be so compromised. But then again, if you look at it, man, it's like, I feel like he almost like he that first fight with Islam, he ate fucking punches from Islam. He ate punches from Islam in the second fight. Obviously, he ate that head kick, but I mean,
Well, he didn't eat it too well, but yeah.
But I mean, Ilia's dominant, man. I mean, there's not really much you can say, dude. He did what he had to do. He did what he said he was going to do, and hats off to him. Am I a fan of him? No, I'm not going to be a fan of him. I don't really like him, but whatever. Anybody, you can like him all you want to. You don't have to be me, but I mean, I just hope Volk thinks long and hard about what's next for him, because in my opinion, what's next shouldn't be a rematch. I think he needs to reconsider or take a long time off and really decide what he wants to do with his future.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I said that to you earlier as well. I think the immediate rematch that Dana talked about, and they asked him, I think the immediate rematch in Spain is definitely intriguing, and I think it can go the other way. I mean, if there's anybody that can beat Topuria, I think it is Alexander Volkanovski, especially the way that he looked through the first round and a half or so. But I mean, Topuria is 27 years old. He's undefeated. He just knocked out arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. After a full camp, like, there is no built-in excuse on this one for Volk, like there was for Islam taking on 12 days notice. He had the full camp. He knew his opponent was, he had the time to prepare. Ilia's just incredibly dangerous. Like, you can't let him get close to you. And the thing is he's going to get close to you, and you really can't, his power, Islam. So he 8 shots from Islam. Volk 8 shots from Islam. Islam hit him in the first fight, right? I don't know if he hit him like that, right? Like, are we?
I mean, that's kind of crazy to say that. I mean, dude, Islam definitely probably hits harder than Ilia does. I mean,
you think?
Yeah, it's a bigger difference. I mean, bigger guy, harder punch, I'm sure. But there's
Ilia's fought at lightweight.
Yeah, true. I mean, but then again, it's like there's a difference. I mean, you're going to sit here and tell me Islam's not better than Ilia Topuria? I think I'd call you crazy.
Not yet. Yeah, Islam's better than him right now.
Islam might be the best fighter in the UFC.
He is. He's pound for pound number one. Absolutely.
So, I mean, and that's coming from me, which you fucking heard that, clip that, because you ain't never going to hear me say that motherfucking shit again.
Yeah.
You can believe that. But,
wait till Tuesday when I got my papapka that I'm going to start wearing every fucking episode.
That's G as fuck, because we're about to talk about that. And this was another guy I was a hater of. I mean, let's finish up with Ilia first.
Yeah,
before we move on.
Let's finish with the main event. So before we get into going down the rest of the card, let's leave some final thoughts on the main event. Alex, he really, my opinion, and I think you agree, is he needs to take some serious time off, right? Like, and I don't know if he's going to, but I just see him needing to take a year off and to recover. Because these 3 month, 4 month turnarounds after getting viciously knocked out does not seem to be serving him well. But we're going to have to see how things play out. He's a fucking fighter, man. There's no doubt. I mean, that dude is on go mode all the time. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that. And then as far as Topuria goes, I've said this. I don't know if you agree. I don't care. I don't see anyone in the featherweight division beating Ilia Topuria right now. The only fight, and this is probably a little premature, but the only fight that is intriguing to me is Mafsar Ivalov.
I was gonna say him, but he's got to get past Diego Lopez.
I think Mafsar Ivalov. What do you mean, Diego Lopez? No, he just beat Brendan Allen.
Yeah, I think they're gonna end up fighting, bro. One day they've been talking.
He's way too high ranked. He's too high ranked for Diego Lopez right now. Like you're gonna give Ivalov. You got to give Ivalov like a top contender, and then he's going to be fighting for the belt. Ivalov's 2 fights away from fighting for a title, and that's the fight to me. That's the most intriguing. I'm sure everybody would love to see. All right, well, he knocked Volk out. Let's see how he fucking does with Max. Like that's the shit I saw on Twitter all day today.
Well, he's not going to fight Max.
I don't think he fights Max. Maybe Max wants that, to try to fucking. I don't know. Max is a gamer too, bro. But I think you right now are definitely not alone in the way that you feel after watching Volk lose. Like there's
I know
a majority of the fan base feels exactly like you do.
I know.
I think if people want to spare themselves of the pain and suffering, they're not calling for Max and Topuria, because I think you're going to end up seeing the same fucking thing. I think Yair Rodriguez has got fucking nothing for Topuria. I think Topuria fucking murders Yair.
Well, the true test will be what's next for Ilia. Obviously, it's going to be the winner of Yair versus Brian Ortega, which will likely be who fights for the title next.
As long as Volk doesn't fight the rematch. Assuming
Volk doesn't fight the rematch, it's Yair Brian Ortega.
I think the rematch gets priority. Then you're going to be looking at Yair Brian Ortega potentially.
But I think Volk. In my opinion, I'll leave it at this, and this is my final thoughts. I think Volk takes a year off, if not a year, at least 6 months, and either goes up a weight class. Because personally, I sent you a list of fights that I am like placing as 2024 like fights I want to see happen. One of those being Volk versus Charles Oliveira. I've wanted to see that fight to see that fight for a while, because this kind of gives you a chance now to see how compromised Volk is, because Charles is a great striker, but Charles also gets hit hard and a lot. So he can get battle tested real quick, but then we get to truly see how good of a fucking takedown defense and how good of ground, like submission defense that Volk has at that higher weight class,
Yeah.
But as far as for Ilia, I mean, Evolve, whatever. I mean, I was impressed with his last fight, but I wasn't at the same time. Like, I don't think
sure.
I don't think he even is remotely close or good enough to beat Ilia right now. And I think there's still a lot of other people who are just as good, if not better.
They're 2 undefeated fighters at the top of the featherweight division, right? So like their stories are aligned to clash at some point.
Yeah, that's true. But then you got to think about Evolov. Evolov is going to have to get through a top 5 guy, top 6 guy, likely going to get thrown like Josh Emmett or somebody who's coming off of a fucking vicious knockout over Bryce Mitchell. So like, he's kind of like that gatekeeper. You're going to have to get through him. And then we got Yair and Brian Ortega. So hell, if Brian Ortega somehow beats Yair Rodriguez, then you're throwing a wrench into everything, because Ortega's been out for over a year. And now he's getting this fight, wins. Now he's a number 1 contender. Yair's there. You still have Arnold Allen, who just lost to Imavov. So Imavov's probably number 5 right now.
Yeah. So Mafsar Ivalov is number 5. Arnold Allen is 6th. So And I think I said Brendan Allen earlier.
Yeah, you did.
My apologies.
Who is number 4 right now?
Brian Ortega.
Brian Ortega,
then
and then
Yair, Max, and I
Yair,
guess
Max, and
Volk,
Volk.
and then Ilia would be champ. Right now on the rankings, it still has Volk as champ. So they haven't updated that top 5 ranking.
Okay.
It has Ilia at 3. But obviously, I think Volk would be 1, Max would be 2, Yair would be 3, Ortega 4, Evilov 5. So yeah, I mean, and the trouble for Evilov is, so he beat Arnold Allen, but Max is fighting Gaethje at 300.
Yep. So that's
Yair and Ortega are fighting. So
Yep.
everybody ahead of him has a fight. I mean, is there a way? Is there any chance that Evilov just fucking jumps everybody and goes right to get a shot?
No. What is Arnold Allen's number 6?
Arnold Allen 6, Josh Emmett 7.
So the only thing would be because they're not going to move. I mean, you could do Josh Emmett versus Imavov just because there's no fight there. And then,
Right.
Because Josh Emmett was a top 5 fighter until he lost to Ilia. And then that moved him back.
Yep.
So,
and then he just
viciously knocked out. But now
Bryce
you just
Mitchell,
see
right.
what Ilia did to Volk, which makes so now like how do you take that away from Josh Emmett? It's like, dude, like this guy just for one, Josh Emmett did not he get how did he
that
beat
went
him?
to decision.
Decision, right?
Yeah. It was a convincing
a very convincing decision, but still,
yeah.
I mean, that holds weight.
And that was a 5-round fight as well. So he stood in there with 5 rounds and
5 rounds with Ilia.
He ate the shot that Volk just took and got knocked out by.
I know.
Josh Emmett ate that a few
times. Like, do you give Josh Emmett another chance to crack the top 5 again and maybe give him Imavov?
Yeah.
That would be, and then you just get Yair and I want to see Yair Ilia, to be honest. I want to see how Ilia fares against a guy who has a bigger reach.
Yeah.
Because Emmett
kicks
doesn't have
more.
a crazy reach. Bryce Mitchell didn't have a crazy reach against him, and kicks more, throws those legs. Because that was hurting Ilia in this fight with Volk.
Yes.
Volk was hitting them leg kicks on him, So like imagine getting Yair's leg kicks, 30, 40 times around. Like it may make a difference. So
it may.
Who knows?
It could.
Like that's a fight I'm excited to see if it happens. So, and I know that Yair lost to Volk, but I mean, different people are stylistically different,
Absolutely.
So,
stylistic matchups definitely matter. And now we're looking at this is what makes the changing of this belt exciting to me. I know I asked you before we started, you're not even a little bit excited.
No.
But this is what makes it exciting, man. You have a fucking new, young, undefeated champion, and now we get to sit here and fuck. All right, now what? You know what I mean?
All I wanted last night was for Volk to win and then lay his gloves down and retire as the greatest.
Well, I don't think that was ever going to happen. I don't think that was even on the table for him if he won.
I don't know why he wouldn't though.
I mean, we want to see guys go out on top. Unfortunately, in this game, more often than not, you see him going out.
Or he would have stepped up, or he would have went up a weight class, and he would have left the featherweight division behind.
Said, there's nothing left for me here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's it. That's all I got for that main event. So
let's move on to the rest of the main card. If you're watching this video or listening to this podcast, man, leave a comment and let us know what you want to see. Kind of like what you want to see, what these next matchups look like. Like how does the top 5 shake out? Who does Ilia fight next? What's the next matchup for Ilia? What does he do? What's the best path for Volk here moving forward? You have Ortega Yair coming up soon. Who's the winner of that? What does Max do after he fights Gaethje for the BMF belt? Evilov, he's an undefeated top 5 fighter. Where does he fit into the mix? So, if you're listening to this, like the video, leave a comment, let us know what you guys are thinking. And we'll kind of go from there. But let's move on
to the rest of the card.
We have
Whitaker Paulo Costa next.
Whitaker Costa.
Straight down. I'm down. As far as this fight, which shockingly did not win fight of the night, which is to me is crazy. Because
what's even crazier, bro? Sorry to cut you off, but what's even crazier is and no disrespect to these ladies because it was
Well,
a
I
great
told
fight.
you that was going to be. Remember last night when you
Yeah.
asked me, and I said,
What's fight of the night?
Yep, because we were going into this fight, and I specifically said, I bet this is going to be fight of the night. And then I said, you said, well, what do you think's been fight of the night so far? And I said, Dern and Lemos was the fight of the night so far.
So they actually got a bonus. Dern and Lemos got a bonus, and Whitaker and Costa did not get a bonus last night.
It's mind blowing, dude.
Yeah, that's super disrespectful. I feel like for Whitaker and Costa, that was a fucking awesome matchup.
It was great, and in my opinion, it was Paulo Costa's best fight yet. He looked great. He looked great, especially off not fighting over a year. He looked phenomenal. Whitaker just looked like the better fighter. He ate the shots and he pressured Costa the whole time. He landed every leg kick he needed to land. He landed every strike he needed to land. Like Whitaker just looked all around good last night, which is crazy to think like how good DDP is after seeing what happened last night against Paulo Costa. So he's like, are you telling me right now that DDP is like the greatest striker in the fucking middleweight division?
Well, he's more of a blitzer, if anything. And then the other thing is, obviously, there was some injury with Whitaker that happened at that fight.
So yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I don't know, maybe that played a huge part, right? That must have played a lot bigger of a part into the card than maybe we assumed.
So now, do we get Robert Whitaker versus Sean Strickland?
Yeah, I mean, we have no fights announced as of yet for the champion. I think that matchup assumes that DDP, Dricus du Plessis, is going to fight Israel Adesanya for the belt next.
Likely.
If that happens, which seems to be the likely scenario, then yeah, I mean, Strickland, Robert Whitaker sounds fucking awesome. But then again, you're kind of leaving out your boy Jared Cannonier. Like, what does that mean for Jared Cannonier?
I think as much as I want to argue it, he's just not a favorite in the eyes of Dana White right now. Like, even giving him a title shot,
well, we don't know if he's healthy, right? Like he's coming
old
off an
too.
Injury, right? He was hurt, which is part of the reason. Well, is the reason for Cannonier's inactivity. So we don't really know what's going on with that, but I mean, he definitely deserves to be in that conversation, as you've talked about in previous episodes. But I don't know where that leaves him. But Izzy, Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland, then Robert Whitaker. Maybe if Costa decides that he wants to be an active fighter, you give Costa Jared Cannonier.
Yeah,
that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, because Costa's what now? 6?
6. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that might work. I mean, shout out to Robert Whitaker though. Called that one. I was the only one on our crew to pick Whitaker, and
yep.
It was the only one I fucking won last night. So thank you, Robert Whitaker, for not making me go 0-5.
I definitely had some serious doubts about Whitaker after his last
performance.
After his last performance against Dricus du Plessis. So I definitely doubted him. Probably not going to doubt him anymore again.
The GOAT has a name, and his name is the Reaper.
He looks so crisp.
The Reaper. He did look really good, though,
he looked so good, man. And he, and they, man, what a fight. That spinning fucking wheel kick by Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa ate it, bro. Ate it.
It wobbled him for a second, but he recovered
really quick. Bounced back.
And it just felt like Whitaker was outclassed him the entire time.
So no, I agree. But yeah, shout out to Robert Whitaker. Let's see what he's got next. I'd love to see Whitaker Strickland. I think that's the fight to make next. Either Whitaker Strickland or Whitaker fucking Izzy for the number one contender. Like, I mean, I don't know if they want to delay whatever. Like,
right?
Whitaker Strickland 2 or Whitaker Izzy 2. You do Strickland fucking Cannonier 2. You never really know what they could really match up, but I think Whitaker Strickland would be dope. I think that'd be a good fight.
I agree,
because it's gonna throw fucking Strickland out of his game, because Whitaker's not really a guy who feeds into the shenanigans. He's kind of more reserved, relaxed. He's that cool guy who just kind of keeps it chill. So he's not going to feed into Strickland's fucking shenanigans.
Yeah,
So I
right.
don't think it's really going to have an effect on him like these other fighters have, like Izzy and DDP, like where he got the chance to call it like DDP gay and Izzy a fucking dog fucker, like things like that. So
Right.
what is he going to call Whitaker? Anti-kangaroo man or something.
Yeah, who knows?
You
Right.
support kangaroo rights. You're a fucking kangaroo liberal or something.
Well, and the Australians loved Strickland when he was there to fight Izzy, right?
Yeah,
and,
well, that will
I mean, they're
change
not
real
gonna.
quick.
Yeah, they're not gonna love him over Robert Whitaker. That's for sure.
No shot. But yeah, next fight on the card. This one right here was supposed to be on paper the most interesting fight, in my opinion. Ian Gary, Jeff Neal. You got Jeff Hands of Steel Neal, who respectfully went 3 rounds with Gary.
Yep.
Could have, I mean,
it was a very close decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it was very it was very noticeable that he got robbed, but if Jeff Neal would have won, I would have been like, okay,
there's a case for it for sure.
There's a fighter's case,
Yeah.
Now
absolutely.
I will say this, Jeff Neal, and you'll probably agree with me. If Jeff Neal had just thrown 20 punches in clinch, he would have won that fight.
Yeah, the clinches I feel like hurt him more than helped him last night. Typically, he's really good in the clinch, but then his coaches called it out, right? Like the stalling almost, because he wasn't really active in the clinch. So every time he had Ian Gary up against the cage in the clinch, he wasn't doing damage there.
No.
He was obviously the aggressor, and definitely had octagon control, but Ian Gary seemed to be really good at kind of his movement and circling away and fighting from a distance, which he's always been really good at. I think Machado Gary did just enough to edge out the decision, but like we've already said, I think if Jeff Neal had gotten his hand raised last night, I could have saw that as well.
See, and that's what I was kind of saying, why I want to see fights like Yair versus Ilia. It's like a similar scenario, you got a guy like Ian Gary who's 6'3", extended reach advantage on Jeff Neal. You have Jeff Neal, who is a inside boxer who can piece you up if he gets inside you. Shavkat rocked, he's got heavy ass hands. Very similar fighting style to a guy. Not saying he has a fighting style like Ilia, but Ilia is a good boxer. Ilia has power punches. If he gets inside of you, it could be over with one punch. So to have a guy like Ian Gary control the distance, utilize his kicks, utilize his push kicks, utilize his head, his distant control, that right there won him the fight. So it's going to require Jeff Neal to push him up against the cage, but he didn't do anything. And that's why he lost the fight. If he would have just thrown rib shots, if he would have just thrown uppercuts inside, if he would have tried to come over Gary's, guard, or anything, attempted takedowns, something that wasn't just holding him up against the cage, I think he could have edged out the decision, to be honest. So,
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think I think Ian Gary did just enough, man. I think he did just enough. He did, he got busted up too. He took some shots, but it just felt like his shots that he landed on Jeff Neal were cleaner. A lot of body kicks.
I was a 29-28 guy in that fight. I thought Neal won the first round. Gary won 2 and 3. So I wasn't a big fan of the 30-27 because I didn't think Gary won all 3 rounds. But
it's like 6 one way, half dozen the other. I don't know that it really matters, right? So whether he wins 29-28 or 30-27, it's irrelevant, right? Sure. I think I had it 30-27, obviously, but again, who the fuck am I and who gives a shit? That's what they said right before they announced the decision. Because as we're watching the fight and they have the Twitter feed in the bottom left corner, where all the people are giving their opinions on how they scored it and who's winning. And there's people saying Neal won. There's people saying Gary won. This and that. It's the only 3 judges in the world that matter right now is what John Anik said, which is so true, right? We can all give our opinions on how we scored it this way or that way. I mean, it doesn't matter. 29-28, Gary still wins.
Yep.
Whether you give him that first round or not.
I agree.
But he still wins. He won the decision. But the story here for me is like, I think if Ian Gary was able to come out and get a dominant victory, it would have done a lot more for his case. As far as like, the people that hate on him and talk shit on him and all these different things. I don't think last night's victory over Jeff Neal really did anything as far as the way people look at Ian Gary.
I saw a few memes when it was like Daniel Cormier was like, "Oh, right now, next Leon Edwards and Ian Gary would be a great fight." Like everybody's like, "Nah, bro. Look at him. He's not even barely winning this fight. You're gonna put him up against the champ,
right?"
Like, nah, bro. Ian Gary's got a long way to go.
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, Jeff Neal's tough for anybody because his fucking chin is crazy. He's got a lot of power.
Shavkat beats Ian Gary right now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's why Ian Gary's in Brazil training grappling as hard as he is, because he knows
didn't even utilize it at all last night either.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean,
but that's what happens when you train with Charles Oliveira.
Right. Well, Charles Oliveira initiates most of his ground game because he got knocked down beforehand.
Exactly.
Right. Like Charles Oliveira gets fucking popped, gets fucking knocked down, and then people jump on top of him.
And then he puts you in a fucking triangle.
Yeah, and then 30 seconds later, you're tapping out going, what the fuck just happened?
Why did I go guard with him?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, Ian Gary's still undefeated. I mean, there's nothing much you can say about it. Call him a cuck all you want to, but guy knows how to win fights. So
yeah, for sure. The him as a person, they put out a video, or he put out a video recently kind of describing that whole situation. If anybody listening hasn't seen that, I suggest you listen to it. It does give a different perspective on the whole situation with his nutritionist / wife's ex-husband.
Please make it make sense, because I haven't watched this video yet.
So there's a stepson involved in that previous marriage for her, and the nutritionist. So there's a child involved with them. So he took her last name. So his child and his stepson can have the same last name. He hired the ex-husband as his nutritionist and brings him along to travel with them, so he doesn't separate a kid from his father. And the stepson and the ex-husband are all together with them, and it's a weird dynamic. I'm not like by any means defending this whole weird ass situation he has going on, but it's kind of like, fuck, like I want to hate him so much, and then it's like, damn, like when you put it,
this guy's
like
out here
that,
playing Jesus, doesn't want to take kids away from their parents and stuff.
What are you going to talk shit on that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's kind of
absolutely, I am.
I don't know, man.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
no, I better stop before I get the damn Nick Merckx cancel culture people coming after me for saying something reckless about people.
Yeah,
who knows? Jesus.
But I just, I don't know. When I listened to that, I was just kind of like, fuck, right? Like,
I'm gonna need a little bit more detail on that. I mean, that sounds okay, I guess, in hindsight, but like, brother, you don't have to hire him as your nutritionist to keep him close to his family. Like, just allow him to visit if that's the case.
Well, he just travels with them and the stepson. They all travel together. Everybody stays together constantly. And then obviously he wouldn't be able to do that without, being able to earn a living. So being hired as Ian Gary's nutritionist now allows him to earn a living as he's traveling with him.
Yeah. And that man's also been inside your wife and seen your wife's tits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's sitting right next to you, eating lunch, cooking you dinner.
Yeah,
like, I guess that is kind of like that's kind of like an alpha move, though. Like, you're my cook and you're making me dinners.
Maybe
maybe
it's a whole different perspective.
Maybe it's like one of those weird like scenarios where he's like in his mind thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna make this man cook for me. I know he's seen my wife's tits, but cook me some chicken, bruh.
Well, then everybody leave a comment on this video whether or not you think Ian Gary is a cuck. If you
Yeah.
think Ian Gary's a cuck, leave that comment. If you think that maybe he took the mature route and you have a different perspective on it, tell us about it. Let us know. Let's get into
This one's
Merab Divashvili and
don't
Henry
don't
Cejudo.
butcher the king's name. The man has a name. It's
Divalishvili.
Marab
Divalishvili.
Daswavalavili.
Yeah.
Davaswili. I'm gonna butcher his name too. That's the best part.
Hey, Dirty, hold on a second.
Davalishvili.
I'm going to have to pull. All right, so Henry Cejudo versus Merab Divashvili.
Davalishwali.
Divalishvili.
Yep.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be
I
an
know
over the
we had to take a
without
quick
butchering
break,
the
so
name.
Murky had to go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and try to pronounce the name
I
3
failed.
times before he came back from our break real quick. But anyways, yeah, Cejudo, Merab, Davalishvili. I think that's how you pronounce it right there.
Divalishvili. Okay.
Yeah, the future champ, without a doubt.
So. I think so.
Merab is good. I will tip my hat. Going into this, I was, and we were talking about this earlier too. I said 5 or 6 weeks ago, I said Merab was going to run through Henry Cejudo. Was I right? Absolutely. Did I change my mind? Yes, I did, because I'm an idiot. Yeah, there's really not much to say. Merab literally put it to Cejudo.
Dominated.
Cejudo didn't have an answer for anything. He looked okay in the first round, but as time went on, Merab just put the pressure. The pressure was too much. And that's what he's good at. And that's what he's going to be great at. And that's why he's going to likely be the next champion of that division, because it's going to be hard to go and keep up with the pace that he puts on fighters. So,
yeah, I agree that he gets better the longer he fights. Like in later rounds, he is just an absolute animal. That was another 3-round fight. He asked for a 10-round fight when it was over in the post-fight interview.
Give me 10-round fight.
Yeah. But man, he's a scary motherfucker, dude. Like if you're looking across the octagon at him in the championship rounds and you're fucking tired, you can guarantee and count on the fact that he is not.
No, yeah, dude. He did not look a single bit tired.
He's going to be coming at you with the same pace and energy and freshness that he did when the fight started.
I remember you said it.
Savage.
I think you said it best. You said right after the first round, you go, look, Cejudo's sitting down, out of breath, and Merab's standing up, bouncing around, like ready to go.
Yeah,
like
he's completely unfazed, bro. He's completely unfazed, and he dominated Henry last night. The way he picked him up and fucking carried him over
across the cage, talking to Mark Zuckerberg. Like,
he had a fucking guillotine in at the end of the one round, which he was talking to Zuck then too. I don't think he was going to be able to get a submission there. There wasn't enough time left, but he was just. I mean, that was one of the best performances I think we saw all night. Just because of how just absolutely dominant it was. And now looking at that bantamweight division, he's next. I mean, he's coming for the belt next. And, regardless of the outcome between O'Malley and Chito Vera, I think O'Malley wins that, defends his belt against Chito Vera. He's going to get that one back, but then he's going to have to fight fucking Merab. And, I don't know, man. I think this 2024 is going to be a crazy year in the UFC and for mixed martial arts in general. And we're going to see a bunch of belts changing hands. And I think the bantamweight is going to be the next one.
Yep. I think so too. I definitely think Merab beats O'Malley. I think Merab beats Marlon Vera. So I'm sold that he's going to be the next champ of the division by the end of the year. I think we get him at like 302, 303. O'Malley or Vera versus Merab,
which we actually talked about at the end of 2023 in one of our episodes recapping 2023 and then predicting 2024 champions. When we talked about the bantamweight division, Merab's name was definitely brought up then And then now after you watch him beat Henry Cejudo the way that he did, I think we were right. I think Merab is the champion in the bantamweight division by the end of 2024. I don't know what the odds on that future are. Probably not very valuable after last night, but I think that's a guarantee.
Do you think it's a main event fight, though? Do you think Sean O'Malley has star power? Let's say he's the champ, all right, let's just say he beats Marlon Vera. Because if Marlon Vera beats Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera versus Merab is a co-main.
Yeah, I agree.
So now if Sean O'Malley beats Chito Vera,
that's a main event.
Sean O'Malley versus Merab, do you think that's a main event?
That's a main event.
Do you think that could co-main a Leon Bilal?
That's a main event. It's a main event. I don't think.
Do you think Sean O'Malley's superstar, like everybody likes him, they're going to make it a main event? I think probably not wrong, but
I think to the casual fan base, O'Malley's a superstar.
I agree. I
think to your casual fan base, he's a superstar. I mean, you're gonna have people telling you right now, Sean O'Malley's gonna destroy Merab. Like, Sean O'Malley's gonna knock him out.
Motherfucker, no.
It could happen.
It's
definitely possible. I doubted, and as much as I hate to admit it, because I fucking hate Aljamain, I really did not think O'Malley was gonna win.
Yeah, well, Aljamain, the reason Aljamain lost, and we've talked about this in the past, is because he didn't stick to his game plan, dude. He did not stick to it at all. He chose to
kind of bum rush in.
Yeah, like an idiot. Like, dude, come on. You're a way better grappler than that. You're a way better striker. You're way better at setting shit up. Like, he got caught, dude. He got caught. It wasn't, I mean, let's be real here. I mean, I think it may have been a slightly early stoppage. I think they could have let that fight keep going. I don't think Aljamain was like out of the fight when they finished it.
Sure.
So I mean, that's just my personal opinion. So, but yeah, I think Merab definitely right now is the best in the division.
I think he holds the belt by the end, and I think Cejudo retires. Cejudo said he was going to retire. If he lost this fight, he was going to retire. He didn't want to just be a fighter. If he was going to be in the UFC fighting, he wanted to be, getting after being a title holder again. They didn't give him the microphone last night, which I actually agree with.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to bring that up because my respect to Dana White. I mean, if you hate on Dana White, then you just hate realist. You hate a real ass motherfucker who's going to say what's on his mind and he's going to keep it 100 every single time he talks. And when he said last night, he gets on the mic and goes, did Merab piss me off when he didn't take the fight against Aljamain? Absolutely. He's like, but Henry wasn't getting that mic last night to retire because that was Merab's moment. Henry's already retired once. He doesn't deserve to get up there and talk about it again. Like, that wasn't his moment. It was Merab's moment. Let him have it. Merab's getting the next title shot. So, like, even though he had that hostile thought about it before for not taking the fight against Aljo, he still had the respect level to say, no, you're not getting it just because you were a double champ at one point. You're not getting the mic again to retire. You lost the fight. Merab deserved it. That's his moment. Let him shine,
Yeah, absolutely. Merab looked unbelievable. He deserved that moment. Dude, and he's actually really coming into his own as far as being I think he's trying to carve out a place where he's a fucking star in the UFC because his like the content that he puts out on social medias, the skits and the videos that he makes are
pretty funny,
phenomenal. He's hilarious.
He's a ladies' man too, bro. He always makes videos of chicks just in bikinis all around him and shit.
He's playing up this character great. I think a fight like this, and then when he goes in an event against Sean O'Malley, I think his level of superstardom is just going to elevate. And he has a great personality, man. I think when casual fan base starts to really understand who he is and starts to get more connected with his content and the other stuff that he's doing, he's a hard guy not to like. I didn't like the him not fighting Aljo either, but at the same time, whatever, fuck it, we're past that. That's in the past. We're moving on. He dominated Henry. He's going to fight for a belt, likely going to win a championship, I think, against Sean O'Malley again. And And then, it's just we're going to have to see how it goes. Sean O'Malley better bring his fucking serious A game.
I agree.
Because this motherfucker is not going to stop, bro.
Nope.
He's not going to stop. He's going to fucking ride you, take you down. I mean, he had Henry in submission attempts, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if O'Malley is able to defend that to the level that Cejudo is. So, but yeah, man, that was an awesome one. Then we had the first fight on the main card last night, which a lot of people picked Roman Kopylov to win against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, and fucking boy, were we wrong there, man. They put some respect on Fluffy's name.
Put some respect on Fluffy's name, dude. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked great. The pressure and the grappling.
It's dangerous.
Obviously, you have a guy, Kopylov, that's an unbelievable striker, especially from a distance.
Yep.
And how do you beat that? You get in his fucking face, right?
Yep.
And you just hit him with constant pressure. Don't let him stay on the outside. Take him down, grind him out. And that's what he did. And then when he was finally able in that second round to kind of get on his back, he had an attempt in. Kopylov defended it really well, but it took a lot of energy. They scrambled again. He got the choke in again. And this time it was just so deep. Kopylov had no choice but to tap, or he was going to be fucking sleeping.
I loved it when he got it the second time, and he just knew it was over.
He started smiling.
He started smiling and just like, it's over. Like, you're not getting out of this one, bro. Dude, Kopylov, the first one though, the first time he got it locked in, like it looked deep. I thought he was going to go out, bro.
Yeah, he does have really good kind of ground game and defense, man. But it's just Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, dude, was just too much for him last night.
Yep.
Was just absolutely too much for him. Props to him. Second round submission victory over Kopylov. Kopylov was an underdog. Now we see why.
Yep, I agree.
Now we see why. That was kind of a fucking bait, I guess, to take Kopylov. But we weren't the only ones. It seemed like everybody was on the Kopylov train.
Yeah.
So if anybody had Anthony Hernandez picked to win in UFC 298, fucking let us know. I haven't seen a single person that had him picked, and I don't want to see fucking people coming after the fact saying that they did. I need to see proof. So if you have proof that you called this one right, fucking please show us, because I haven't seen a single person. Everybody was picking the underdog, and everybody was fucking wrong.
I agree.
All right, man. So that's your main card. We can kind of go through the prelims a little bit if you want.
Yeah, we ain't got to spend too much time on them. I mean,
give me your rundown on the prelims if you want, just highlights.
Okay. I'll just give you my three favorite moments of the prelims.
Yeah.
One, Amanda Lemos, Mackenzie Dern. I mean, you just got to talk about it. It was fight of the night.
Yep.
Lemos is. There's a reason why she fought for the belt, and she proved that last night. But what we also learned is, one, Mackenzie Dern, I'm sorry, she's good, but she needs to figure out her coaching scenarios, her training stuff, because whatever she's doing is not working. This is the second fight in a row against strikers that she's gotten into where she's gotten pieced apart like nobody's business. She's tough as shit.
Yeah.
Tough as shit. But
definitely got a chin on her.
You're not going to sit there. If you can't beat people like Lemos or Andrade or these strikers, then you're quit trying to strike with them.
Right.
Like, she was trying to strike with her. I don't understand that. Like, her game planning is horrible. Like,
she seemed like she tried to use striking to open up a takedown.
You can't do that with someone who's quick like Amanda Lemos.
And quick and powerful, man. Quick and powerful.
That was the highlight of that fight. And then the Lima Junior Tafa, obviously awesome story with Junior Tafa stepping up.
Yeah.
Dude, the Lima just dominated him like nobody's business with those leg kicks. He was compromised 30 seconds into the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, but that just goes to show you how good Derek Lewis is. I mean,
right. Derek Lewis knocked him the fuck out. Right.
So if there's anything to learn from that, Derek Lewis is the Black Beast for a reason, dude. So
fuck yeah. Love Derek Lewis.
And I'll just leave it at this. Nakamura did not look as impressive as he should have as a minus 1,500 favorite.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of got a little fraud checked last night. Not necessarily like he got beat, but he did not meet his expectations as a heavy favorite, you know?
It was a fucking 1,400 favorite or something.
Minus
The only thing I'd say to that is I don't want to discredit his victory. I feel like Carlos Vera, the way that he fought with that like weird rolls and his jiu-jitsu that he does, it's such a weird thing to fight. But then again, like, I'm going to bring him up again, man. We saw Ilia Topuria beat Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall did the same shit, right? And Topuria,
Ryan Hall got Ryan Halled.
Well, Ryan Hall trains Carlos Vera.
Yeah. Carlos Vera got Ryan Hall, yes.
But I'm just saying, like, my point is that a championship level fighter against a style like that was able to pin one of Ryan Hall's arms and knock him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Rinya Nakamura had a really difficult time. I mean, he was safe, right? Like, no matter how many times Joe Rogan wanted to say how dangerous the leg locks were,
Bro,
Jesus Christ.
I was losing my mind, Murky. That was pissing me off so much. And I'll say this right now, Joe Rogan, if you're listening, you did a horrible job commentating last night, dude.
Yeah, you'll definitely get some hate for that one, for sure.
Like, dude, at some point, dude, shut up, put your ego and knowledge aside, and fucking quit being so drawn to one specific thing in the fight. Like,
yeah,
he literally would not stop talking about these fucking leg locks and rolls. Like, oh, look, he's got it. He's deep. It is a dangerous lock. And it's like, no, it wasn't, Joe. No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
I
don't think.
What got me was when the dude kicked him, and he goes, "Oh, he must have been training that all camp." Like, no, Joe Rogan, he's on his back. What do you think he's gonna do? Fucking flying punch him from the ground position? Yeah, he's gonna kick him, you idiot. God, dude.
Yeah, it was
Joe Rogan, but man, he was pissing me off last night.
Yeah, I think he forgot his alpha brain last night for sure. But that I don't think those leg locks, like, of course they're dangerous, right? Of course they're dangerous.
Dude,
I don't think I don't think Nakamura was ever in any serious danger, though.
No, not at all.
I mean, he was able to kind of get out of them really easily, but that is my point on to why maybe he didn't get the dominant victory, because credit to Carlos Vera. I mean, you're under threat of these fucking wild submissions constantly, it was just a weird fight, man. And like, maybe it speaks to how good Nakamura is actually, right? Yeah. A less skilled grappler or Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist probably gets fucking submitted, probably gets his leg fucking snapped in half.
I agree.
Because he definitely had some good opportunities there.
But outside of that, I mean, Zhang Mingyang, great comeback knockout to start the prelims off. Danny Barlow looks like a serious prospect for the future. Striking is great, looked phenomenal. Just dominated that fight. So I'm super excited to watch that guy
with a broken arm.
Yeah. So super impressed by him. Val Woodburn needs to jump back in the ocean and take his shark ass on somewhere else, because, dude, he is garbage, bro. He is fucking garbage, bro. I have never in my life seen someone who is so fucking bad at fucking fighting, bro. The guy literally just runs and just throws the most craziest haymakers in hopes. And I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. He had that guy rocked, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of that first round, when he rocked him and almost put his lights out, he almost finished him, dude. But
he's got that ability for sure. But anything else,
anyone who knows how to fight from a distance is going to knock him out tenfold. Yeah. Look at what happened when he fought fucking Bo Nickel, dude.
Yeah.
Bo Nickel was 2 fights into the UFC and put that guy's lights out, bro.
Yeah, I think other than a puncher's chance, you don't see Val Woodburn being matched up against anybody that he has a legitimate chance at beating. I mean, I guess with his
he may not fight in the UFC again. He's probably going to get cut. To be fair.
I mean, the only reason he's here is because he took that Bo Nickel fight. Which, listen, I said this to you last night while we were watching it. Yo, big time, Like, I'm sure if we got down, let's think about this for a second. If we got down to offering that fight to Val Woodburn, chances are there was fucking 20 other people ahead of him that were like, fuck that. I'm not
Yeah,
fucking fighting no Bo Nickel on 10 days notice. Fuck that. They offered it to Val Woodburn. He's like, yeah, I'm game. I'll scrap. You know, so I give him mad respect for that.
fucking 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, he got in there though. Like, I'll never talk shit on a fighter that is willing to get in there, man, because there's not a lot of people that are even willing to get in there and do this shit. Sure. And the fact that you're going to get in there and you're willing to get in there and fight against fucking arguably the greatest prospect the UFC has right now. And at that time, the heaviest favorite in UFC history. I mean, you know, props to Val Woodburn, but yeah, man, I mean, other than a puncher's chance, it ain't looking too hot for him in his MMA career. So,
yep. And then finish it off. Miranda Maverick looked great. Striking looked great. All around just looked dominant. She's good.
Yeah.
Is she great? No. Is she good? Yes.
Yeah, she's good, man. She's young, dude.
Yeah.
She's really young. So like I think there's promise. There's a lot of promise for Miranda Maverick. I didn't see her winning that fight last night by outstriking Andrea Lee. I mean, that's something that I did not expect, and she 1000% did.
Yeah.
Miranda Maverick also came out in a black cowboy hat, which is Andrea Lee's signature trademark.
Savage, bro, with the American flag too. Gangster.
Yeah, fucking, I love that shit. So Miranda Maverick, you know, we're big fans. You fucking did your thing last night, girl.
Facts. But yeah, I mean, that's really it for 298. I mean, I don't really know if we could say much more.
Yep.
We're on to the next one. We got 299 coming up, and 2 fight nights in front of that. And then we get to really see what's next for a couple people, because 299 is going to tell us what's next for 299 is going to tell us what's next for Sean O'Malley or Vera. Is it going to be Merab, or is it going to be Merab who Merab's going to be fighting next? We're going to see that. And then Dustin Poirier, Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah,
that right there is another one that's going to be that we're going to see and be like, okay, what's next for those guys? Like, do we see Benoit Saint Denis jump in the top 5 and get his title shot? You know, there's a lot coming up, and then we get the Michael Venom Page and shit like that. So a lot to come, a lot of good pay-per-views to come. Murky, that's really all I got for 298. I think it was all around. I think we covered pretty much everything we could.
Absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure. And we'll keep pumping out some stuff, and we'll get into UFC fight nights coming up next week. Be on the lookout for that video and that podcast episode. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, leave a like on all the videos. Download the episodes, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen. We are there. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us everywhere. But yeah, we'll catch you all on the next one.
Yeah, buddy.